Well, barreling towards the East Coast with winds up to 125 miles per hour, Hurricane Earl has put the entire eastern seaboard from North Carolina to Maine on alert. Coastal evacuations have already gone into effect in North Carolina as many Americans are faced with reevaluating their holiday weekend plans. Well, joining us right now on the phone with more is Bloomberg's Chris Burritt. He's been chasing this storm for us. He's on the beach in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina with the latest. So what is the weather like there right now, Chris?
Hey, we got our first sprinkles of rain about an hour ago. I suppose those are the first fingers of the band coming in. Generally, though, it has been a blustery, overcast day, muggy with temperatures in the mid-80s. It seems the waves have flattened down just a bit as the day has gone on, although there's a lot of whitecaps and foam, and at high tide a couple of hours ago, the swell was clearly pushing up the beach.
I'm just curious, too, Chris, what's it like on the ground in terms of the reaction among the people who live there? I mean, it's probably, not the first time they've had to deal with these, not probably, but it isn't the first time they've had to deal with storms like this or similar to this. But are they leaving? Are they evacuating? Is it a deserted town at this point? Or at this point, people kind of holding back a little bit, staying put?
Well, vacationers are leaving for the most part, I think it's fair to say. When the evacuation orders went out starting yesterday, people packed and left, generally speaking. Locals, however, are sticking around. They've been through many storms. I'm not suggesting there's a cavalier attitude here, but they think they know what they're doing. As an example, though, of people coming in to Kitty Hawk, which is in the northern area of the Outer Banks, there are 4 weddings in the hotel where I'm staying planned for the weekend, and they're still on.
Yeah, they're not. It doesn't sound like they're going anywhere. You did mention that the tourists are leaving. So what about, though, in terms of the retailers down there? Are they looking to be possibly affected by this weather? Restaurants and businesses, are they closing down perhaps at this point?
Well, a pizzeria where I bought my lunch is going to stay open until 8. A strip of shops across from me they've either closed for the day or plan to close at 4 o'clock. Grocery stores are still open. Some are raising merchandise off the floor and putting it on the next highest shelf in preparation. Some businesses, some homeowners are boarding up their windows, but there are many, many, many who are not taking any steps in advance of this storm.
Well, it's interesting, Chris, we've talked a lot recently about, I think it was the 5-year anniversary for Hurricane Katrina. I mean, do you feel like in general people are not that nervous? Maybe they've forgotten about Hurricane Katrina in terms of the impact it had along, so many states. I'm just curious, are people much more calmer? Are you kind of surprised by that?
Well, I'm a little surprised that there's not more boarding up of windows than I have seen. However, it seems a given that Highway 12, which runs through the center of the Outer Banks, it seems a given that it's going to flood and be washed over by sand. And that happens whenever there's nor'easters and other large storms. So people living in the southern areas, such as Hatteras Island, have already cried uncle on the Labor Day weekend. They do not expect the evacuation to be reversed in time for anyone to come back for the long weekend. Now, that's different up here where I am in Kitty Hawk, which is more accessible from larger highways, such as Highway 158. And again, here in Kitty Hawk, police have gone door to door on the waterfront, on the oceanfront cottages, to let people know that there's an evacuation order.
Okay.
But some are staying.
Yeah, it certainly sounds that. Okay. Hey, Chris, thank you so much. Bloomberg News' Chris Burritt with an update on Hurricane Earl.